I felt crappy on a Saturday, I saw it on a Sunday. Monday's now a better day, Tuesday's now a fun day. Everything feels better now, I really cannot tell you how. Not ready for my final bow, 'cause it's that flick, that vid, that Hollywood script that made me who I am today. It's the movie that changed my life, the movie that made it right, the movie that gave me fight, the movie that held me tight, the movie that changed my life.
You know those movies, the ones that didn't just entertain us, they changed us. Changed how we saw the world, changed how we looked at life, maybe even changed who we saw in the mirror.
We've all got one. That one movie, the one that hit at the perfect time, that stuck with you. It shaped you. Maybe even saved you a little.
I'm Mickey.
And I'm Ian.
Each week, we're going to sit down with a guest and unpack the movie that changed their life. We're going to learn about who they were when they saw it, what shifted inside of them, and how it still impacts them today.
We go deep, not into the movie itself, but into the human stuff it touched. Grief, hope, identity, forgiveness, joy.
Sometimes it'll be a masterpiece that everyone knows, and sometimes it'll be a weird cult classic, and other times maybe a kid's movie that no one saw coming, but it doesn't matter what it is, because this is not a movie review show. This is a show about how movies shape who we are.
But it always tells a story about them, about us, about what it means to be human. This is the movie that changed your life. Now, today's guest is Nick Clement. He's a producer and partner at WolfDen Films, an indie production and financing company specializing in feature films and TV projects. He's currently in development on Don't Hang Up, a biopic on the 90s comedy duo, the Jerky Boys. He's a graduate of Keene State College with a degree in film production and has worked for companies such as Jerry Bruckheimer Films, Scott Free, Larger Than Life, and RDF Media. Currently, he resides somewhere deep in the woods of Connecticut with his beautiful bride, amazing son, and adorable cat. Nick, welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I can't wait to talk to you about the movie that got it all started. So
I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah. So, what is your movie, Nick? Why don't you tell the audience what you did?
Yeah, and before I even jumped to it, like there were so many, when this opportunity came up, there were so many directions I could have gone. I could have picked my favorite movie, which is Goodfellas. I could have picked my first R-rated movie that I saw in the theater, which was Major League, which really blew my mind when I was 8.5. I could have picked so many movies. Pulp Fiction, which truly changed the way that I saw films when I was 14 years old. And really that movie kind of set me on a track, I guess, to, maybe thinking about getting into film. But
yeah,
no, I had to go with the first movie that I ever saw on the big screen.
No way.
Yeah, totally.
This is like dual. This is dual things. It's not only the movie that changed your life; it's the first movie you saw at the movies.
Yeah, and and it's funny because I turn 45 in a few days.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. And it's just when I think about the idea that I can still remember 41 years ago, because I was 4.5 when I saw this particular film. I can just say the title. So a movie that changed my life would be Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. 1985, came out in March. I was 4.5 years old and my parents took me to see it, and not sure that they had truly, I don't think nobody was reading up about movies back then anyways, and you could get away with a lot of stuff. In retrospect, the most inappropriate PG rated film ever. There's like hardly anything in that movie that's rated PG. But that's for another.
4.5-year-old to that.
Yeah. So
it's a good way to learn things.
It's a great way to learn about life, watching Baby Secret of Lost Legend when you're 4.5, because you get to see everything pretty much that life involves.
Right.
So
and then at 4.5, we don't usually have many memories.
No,
I know. And you still vividly remember this movie. Like, I can. He was a 4.5-year-old.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I have a memory of sitting inside of the theater and seeing the images like in front of me, but I do have a memory still. So in the first act, babies. So the idea of this movie, for those of you who haven't seen it, and I highly recommend that you find it somehow. It's on Blu-ray. It's been released a couple times. It's kind of an obscure. It was a third Touchstone. I think it was the third movie that Touchstone Pictures, which of course was the adult arm of Disney. I think it was their third movie they'd released. They were still trying to figure out how to appeal to adults and kids at the same time. Hence why they stuck in so much inappropriate content in an otherwise innocuous movie about a baby brontosaurus. But the idea of this movie is that Sean Young and William Catt are a couple. They're both paleontologists or something like that around that realm. He's a writer. She's a paleontologist. She's obsessed with finding a dinosaur. They hear rumors of a dinosaur living in the Congo. They hustle down to Africa. They go into the jungle, and sure as shit, they find the baby dinosaur live with the mom and the dad, and enter the villains. And you have Patrick McGowan, and as the slimy British baddie, and Julian Fellows pre Downton Abbey fame, pre Gosford Park fame, slumming it, taking a paycheck. The second, he was the henchman. Hilarious stuff. But
it all seems like they're making a movie they think is good. They doesn't seem like they're.
And we're going to talk about aspects of that too. I become friends with the screenwriter. One of the wonderful things about Facebook is that you never know who will accept your friend request. And I've had a chance to become pretty good friends with Clifford Green, who co-wrote that movie and also co-wrote a movie called Space Camp, which easily.
Space Camp.
Yeah, so the guy who co-wrote Baby also co-wrote Space Camp. So that it just think about that for a second. It's mind blowing. In any event, so the bad guys, they hire a bunch of Congolese militiamen, and they kill the father dinosaur, kidnap the mother. The baby escapes, and then of course William Catt and Sean Young find the baby. They get reunited with the mother. So I was so upset that the father was gunned down, the father dinosaur, and totally fucked me up in the theater. Broke my heart. I was screaming and crying. I was taken out into the lobby. That's what I remember. I remember my parents trying to calm me down, be like, it's just a movie. Like, like it's okay. We can leave.
This was traumatic for you.
Yeah. And I had this little pink rabbit doll that I took everywhere with me when I was younger. And I had it with me at the theater. I can still remember that thing. And I was like, they calmed me down. I was like, no, let's go back in. And they brought me back in. We watched the rest of the movie. I loved it. My mother taped it the moment that it showed up on, my mother used to tape everything and then write the title down on the spine, right? So I remember seeing, and she would take little, in the TV guide, they would have little things that you could cut out. Yeah, like little, exactly. And she would put little stickers on the tip and the spine. So, it wasn't just the title, but the little graphic. And I grew up in a house where movies were big. My parents, I grew up in a very cinematic supportive household. Movies were always a thing. We always went to see them. I saw a lot of stuff that I might not otherwise have seen with other parents because they were pretty lenient on what I was able to get away with. And
do you have any examples of maybe some of those movies that they let you see? That
well, my dad took me to see Major League when I was 8.5, so I learned pretty quickly about the F word very quickly.
Was swearing not a thing in your household?
No, swearing was very much a thing in my household.
Okay.
I just don't think that I don't think my parents quite knew exactly what And the joke is that my father had gone to see Major League on Friday night on opening night with my mother, and then he took me and my grandfather the next day. So it's like he knew what was in for him. He was just like, I'm taking my kids to see Major League.
That's awesome.
Great. So we were in Florida on vacation. So he showed us Total Recall. I was 9 and my sister was 6, I think, or I was 10, she was 7. That was pretty rough. I can still remember watching that movie and being blown away by the violence. I'd never seen violence like that ever. You still don't see violence like the original Schwarzenegger Total. I mean,
Paul Verhoeven,
nobody does violence like Paul Verhoeven. What else did I see young? I saw Alien when I was 10.
Whoa.
I saw Blade Runner on the big screen when I was like 11 or 12. That was like a 70 millimeter thing my dad took me to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Movies were always a big deal. I saw Once Upon a Time in America. I remember being absolutely blown away by that film. Over time, of course, I've come to appreciate the director's cut, more than the theatrical cut. But when I was a kid, I didn't know the difference between theatrical,
Right.
And all I knew is that VHS came in 2.
Oh yeah.
So there were 2 tapes for that one.
Right.
And I knew that if it was 2 tapes, then you knew it was special. We knew it had to be. So there was that. But when I watched that, I was probably I was 10 or 11. You learn everything about, you truly learn everything about life in Once Upon a Time in America. If you haven't seen it in a while, I still think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. I don't care what you say about, this version, that version. All versions of that movie are amazing.
My mom brought my brother for his birthday party. It was like his 10th birthday party to see Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. And there's like a rape scene, crazy violence. And I was there too. So I was like 8 or whatever. I was like, wow, it was something else.
And then, and it's, it's funny. Like I think about this stuff all the time about the ratings now and what you can get away with and what the level of subversion is with kids. And, I watch all these Marvel movies, we watch all these comic book movies where half the world dies and there's no blood and there's no stakes. And, it's PG-13 and none of it makes any freaking sense. And you think about the way that kids relate to the world a lot of times, and I think kids relate to the world and what they see, right? So what were the movies in the 80s that people grew up with? You grew up with movies like Baby, you grew up with Goonies, you grew up with the Monster Squad, you grew
Ghostbusters,
you grew up with My Science Project. There's all these movies that never would stand a chance of getting made these days for whatever reason, economics, the social climate, I don't, whatever those reasons are. But I find it to be a shame, and I'm always pushing the older movies on my son. Movies like Daryl. I love that movie.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like that's a great one. I could have easily have done Daryl as the movie that changed my life. And that's another one my mother showed me. I was like 7 or 8, and that really blew my mind. The Robot Kid.
I brought my son the other day to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for his 50th anniversary.
Ooh.
And I was thinking, my son, he's 18, but he's 18.
Okay, so he's old enough to appreciate that very much.
But I was thinking that movie would never be released in a cinema today. Maybe on an indie, maybe streaming, but never at the theater. I'm like, like a loss.
Unless Leonardo DiCaprio was the star, or two,
maybe,
or a couple people. It's tough, man. Look at I produce movies. I'm learning about Hollywood and learning about how movies get made every day. And I certainly don't agree with the over reliance of one or two types of product that the studios decided over the last 15-20 years to focus on. I really wish we could get back. Like the 90s look like the 70s, now, like in terms of the quality. Like the 90s are just like, I look back at the 90s and we were spoiled. You didn't realize how spoiled you were then. You see it now. But when it applies to something like Baby and why I would choose that, I honestly think that you can debate the overall quality of the movie, and you can debate the any of the aesthetic decisions or what have you. From what I gathered, there was a fair amount of interference and meddling, and that was not exactly what the overall intentions were in certain aspects of the film. But it kind of has everything. It has heart, it has loss, it has hope, it has humor, it has affection, romance, it has violence, it has a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the reasons that when I saw it, and I said to like, honestly, I mean, like, whether or not it was, at 4.5, you're not like, oh yeah, like, I just saw a movie and I'm going to become a movie maker when I'm older. Sure. Like, you're not thinking like that. But I have to imagine, and I have to believe that because that movie did something to me, because it provoked a visceral response, because it provoked an emotional response, and then I still wanted to see, like, it wasn't to the point where, like, I wanted to leave. Like, it had disappointed me and upset me, but I needed to go back and, like, find out what the deal was. There's not too many things that are like that in life. You know what I mean? Like, they give you the opportunity to, like, get back in there and go do it right away. And sort of finish that experience or that story. And when you're 4 or 5 and you're a kid and you're just starting to, like, look around and experience things, like, you're just at the cusp, right? Like, my son's 9 and I can think really quickly right back to, 4.5, 5. That's when you're like, and I saw it with my son. That was during COVID. He was 5, right around that time. And we had him home for the whole year. All we did was watch movies together. We should watch everything when he was 5.
Good dad.
I showed him so many movies. It was crazy. But that's when you are starting to decide, ooh, like, that's something I like, or I don't really like, that's not exactly right. And I know in my heart that when I saw Baby, I loved movies. I loved this idea of going into this place and sitting down and seeing a story for 2 hours, and then we're done, and then we go off, and then we can talk about it and think about it and watch it again later, and then next week we get to do it all over again on Friday with whatever's coming out. So I think I would have to point to it being, that experience, that core memory of being emotionally triggered by something that I saw, regardless of the quality, not having, when you're 5 years old, you have no idea what a good movie is or a bad movie.
Nick, that's the best part about this podcast. It's not a movie review show. You don't have to defend the quality of something. Yeah. It's all about how it impacted you. So you don't have to, like, be like, oh, well, the graphics, you don't have to give us any of those, like.
Oh yeah, totally.
Production value, though, it's pretty good. I mean.
Oh yeah, he has freaking John Alcott, the guy who shot 2001 and Barry Lyndon and Clockwork Orange and The Shining.
It looks good.
Yes, it looks great. It's beautiful, 235, anamorphic, like the old school widescreen. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully shot. B.L. Norton, who did Cisco Pike, he's got crazy credits. If you've never seen Cisco Pike with Chris Christopherson, it's a great.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's a great pot smuggling. It's a great little weed movie from the 70s. It's awesome. Okay.
Let's go to a clip of Baby if you guys are up for that.
Yeah. Clip it up.
You ready? All right. Well, I was hoping he would tee up. Do we have one to tee up that actually would be a scene that was impactful to him?
That's hard because I don't know if we know that. I have 2 random clips I chose.
Yeah.
And then maybe he'll say if this impacted him. Let's see.
George, it's a hatchling. It is. It really is. We'll take pictures. We're looking at 150 million years ago. My God.
You realize you're going to be the most famous scientist in the world?
You're going to cover it.
Is that a scene you remember?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've watched. I mean, You don't even want to know how many times I've watched this movie.
Right?
Wow. I've seen it once at the theater.
I've seen it easily 50 times, probably 100
Oh my
times.
God.
Oh, I mean, like how many? I mean, like when you're a kid, I mean, you watch.
True.
We had like you know.
This would be on the VHS.
When you had like 10 VHSs, it wasn't like now where it's like you watch something once and then you go up to the next 10 million things. Like you had one VHS,
True.
you watched it, you rewound it, you watched it again.
Yeah, we had like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I remember too, that was a big deal because it was when it was taped off TV, it was, oh, that's the movie we saw in the theater. That was the, you know, because I'm trying to remember, like I definitely had some early movie going experiences. I want to say when did the Transformers movie come out? I have
2007.
No, the animated one.
No, I don't know.
Trying to remember, that was like 1986. So it was the following year. My mother took me and my friend Mike Marcelino to see Transformers the movie in 1986. That was a big deal.
Nice.
I love how those moments imprint on your timeline who you were with when they had that kind of impact. You're like, remember that day?
Yeah, totally.
You'd be disgusted. I can honestly, it's gross. This would actually be another good podcast.
Yeah,
let's hear it.
I can remember it's gross. I can remember, if you like just throw out a movie, I could probably tell you where I saw it, who I saw it with, and in some instances probably tell you what trailers were shown. But I definitely could tell you where I was. Like, if you were to be like, Nick, where were you when you saw Snake Eyes with, you know, the Brian De Palma movie, you know, with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that in Bloomfield with my girlfriend, who's now my wife.
How about Frequency with Dennis Quaid?
Saw that, unfortunately, not in the theater, because I love that film. I wish I had seen it in the theater. Love that movie. That's one I can't wait to show my son. I saw that on DVD on my own when I was living in LA.
And back to Baby, the impact that these movies have on you, is it more the cinematic experience, or do you connect with them in a personal way? Or is it like, this is the first movie I saw and wow, movies are a thing. It's this thing that moves me. Or is there something specific in yourself?
You know, I mean, dinosaurs were my shit. You know, I love dinosaurs. I mean, what boy does? Most boys do.
Every little kid.
Yeah. I mean, every little kid does. So that was a big deal. The fact that it was a movie that I could go see with my parents, you know, we were going to the movies. It was this thing, Nick, we're taking you to the movies. We're going to go to, you know, so it was about dinosaurs. That was pretty cool. So I immediately was able to latch onto that. And I've always loved dinosaurs. You know, I'm a sentimental guy when you cut down to it. So I think that there was something about that, you know, the heart of that movie that it does have, that probably, you know, made me enjoy it ultimately. Mm-hmm. No, but it was more about the experience, and it was more about seeing something that was so, honestly, so much bigger than me, right? I mean, like, if a movie is supposed to resemble life and it's made by hundreds of people, for that 2 hours, it's bigger than you are, just for that 2 hours. So, you know, I think that it certainly made an impression, because after that, I wanted to watch every movie that I could ever get my hands on. And, you know, and again, like I can, you know, when I was 14, there were 14 and 15 is when my dad started taking me to the movies every weekend to see an R-rated, like a great R-rated movie, right? Like that's when, you know, Scorsese and Michael Mann are like firing on all cylinders, right? Quentin Tarantino starting. And I'm like 14, 15, and I'm like, whoa, these are movies now. These are films. This is a film. You know, but that's a whole different can of worms, I think. So.
Right on. All right. So we're going to take you through the timeline, because we bounced around to like you today, you last week with your son, to you at teenage. So like, let's start over at 4.5, right? We just saw this clip where it's a family of dinosaurs. And as a little kid, seeing a family of dinosaurs where it rocks my world too, especially 1985, where there's no special effects. There's nothing else with dinosaurs animated right then. And you see this family, and it's fantasy, but as a little kid, I imagine, especially at 4.5, you're like, I recognize family. And not long after that is the moment when the hunters see the family and the father dinosaur tries to get protective and they mow him down. The moment that really hit you. So you have this thing set up in a fantasy film, right? Where you're like, oh, there's my family. I understand it. And then immediately, so you're like, this is real. I understand these human things they're putting on the screen. And then to see the dad shot, like when I watched it again to talk to you, I was completely floored by the father being absolutely just blown away in front of his wife and the dinosaur finding it. I imagine at 4.5, that would have been horrifically scarring because everything about this is magical and wonderful. And then to see something so awful can happen. It's almost like, yes, your dreams can come true and so can your nightmares.
Yeah.
That the family is ripped apart. Like, I don't know how a little kid could process that. So I guess take us back to that. And then like when you first started to realize that that had an impact on you as you got older and started to drive those core decisions you were just telling us about.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I had an amazing childhood. You know, I got, you know, I'm not religious, but like, you know, I got blessed with great parents, a great time to grow up. You know, so like you said, when you start off a movie for 20 minutes and it's all like, oh, hey, you know, like the family, you know, family dinosaurs frolicking around, you know, what can a little kid do but not be like, oh, you know, that's basically me. That's me and my parents, you know? So yeah, like you said, you know, when dad gets blown away, you're not expecting it, you know? So, and again, like I said, I'm a fan of all types of movies. I'm a fan of the dark ending just as much as I am of like the guy gets the girl and, you know, we all live happily ever after at the end, you know? I think that perhaps because of that movie, like you said, rooted in fantasy, but still grounded in some level of harsh reality. That's classic Disney for you. I mean, like,
yes, Bambi.
Like, how different is the opening of this than to Bambi? I mean, it's really no different. Which has been the Disney playbook forever: kill the parents in the opening act, and then have the kid you learn.
If Bambi had more grenades, they would be like the same movie.
Yeah, so true. So, you know, how it affected me moving forward, you know, after that, that's a great question. Subconsciously, perhaps maybe seeing that film at such an early age and having that experience probably made me love my parents even more. I can just think right off the bat. It always shook me up, even when I watched it after, like when because I didn't see it twice in the theater, at least I don't think I did. So it was probably, and you know, it's not like it is now where you get to watch the movie 40 days after you saw it in the theater if you loved it and you're going to buy it on, you know, right? It had to
wait like a year.
Had to have been a year. And I can remember watching that tape repeatedly and honestly not necessarily fast forwarding through that moment, but I didn't like watching it. Even when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, and I was still watching the movie, I never liked it. Which, hilariously enough, the opening scene, some dude gets stabbed, and I didn't give a shit about that.
Oh yeah,
some guy just gets really, you know, and it's like it's set up as some like seemingly random thing, but of course it's integral to the plot. But yeah, no, I didn't care about any of that stuff. You know, it was just that. It was just that idea, I think, of tearing family apart, you know,
right?
being that young and seeing that, you know, because I saw the Disney classics probably after,
wow,
you know, like the era of the clamshell, you know, VHS, you know, the Disney VHS, the collector series ones, and all those movies. I have vivid memories of watching those movies with my sister.
Right.
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Little Mermaid, Aladdin.
Fantasia.
Fantasia. You know, but that was all post baby. You know, I still wonder where my sister was. My sister would have to have been with a babysitter because she would have been 1.5 when baby came out. So
if it terrified you that much, it would not have been good for her.
Yeah, my parents took me to the theater that night, so it was a big night to go out.
Were they trying to cover your eyes at all, or were they like, well, we watch movies. This is just fake.
No,
we'll be able to handle it.
You know, like, I don't think that they knew, you know, no one read up on movies like they do now.
From the preview, you would have never known that there's dinosaur murder.
Yeah, no. I mean, unless it was hinted at in the trailers, which, and it's funny, it's funny. I would love to actually see, I've watched the movie 7,000 times. I don't know that I've ever actually seen the original theatrical trailer for Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. I wonder if it's
very on brand for the 80s.
But it probably hit everything. But no, it's you know, just things hit you in weird ways, and you know, I've never forgotten it.
Right. And that's interesting that you said that you got the opportunity out in the lobby with mom and or dad to go home or go back in.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome that you went back, that you chose to go back in. Like, that in and of itself could be something that changes a person, where you have to face something that scares you, you don't understand it, but yet you were still compelled to go back in. I don't know, maybe see that baby was okay, that it was going to work out, that the poachers or the hunters were going to win, or that, you know, the two scientists were going to do the right thing and fight for the family of dinosaurs.
It was a moment of courage for you.
There's like a lot of things going on here for such a young brain. You know, like, did any of this ever come back when you're watching it, like thinking about that moment where you had to face something that scared you immediately as a little kid? You know,
I don't think so. I remember being excited to show my friends the movie, because I remember, especially my friend Mike Marcelino. He used to, you know, my best buddy growing up. He lived right across the street, a couple doors down, come over all the time. He'd watch everything. And I remember being excited that I had seen this movie and he hadn't, and that I knew it was going to come and that he was going to experience it for the first time. Are
you still like that today?
That's going to be
I'm that way.
Into you being a movie producer.
Yeah, I know, totally. Which I think is
that you immediately knew that you wanted to connect to his like core with something that was going to hit.
Yeah, I didn't make the movie at that point, but yes, I wanted to see what you thought. So totally, you're right. In that respect, it is on the path to, you know, making films and seeing what people think of what you create. But yeah, no, I'm like that now. I mean, I drag my wife to see everything, even if she doesn't, really want to see it, because I'm always afraid of just fucking loving it and then, you know, being like, oh, you didn't come see the movie with me, and now I gotta tell you about it.
And have no one to talk to about it. Yeah.
So, you know, she's ended up seeing a lot of things that she wouldn't otherwise, and to her credit, she's ended up loving a lot of things I think that otherwise maybe either wouldn't have seen or might not, you know, thought that she would want to like, or thought that she might like, you know, just because I'm adventurous, you know, with stuff. And that's the way I am with my son. Like, I can't wait to show my son Goodfellas and Heat and Casino and Pulp Fiction and The Professional and The Godfathers. And, you know,
I've gone through a lot of those already with my kids.
Movies that have profound impact on people.
Yes,
killers, universal themes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like are you showing them hoping it will land with him, or that he'll feel the same thing you did, or that, you know, as a movie maker, I don't know, there's something worth reacting to or feeling in that story? Like, what is it that you're going for? Besides, you got to check this out because it's mandatory watching. It's mandatory. You have to.
Yeah, no, totally. When it comes
to the people in our lives.
Yeah. No, totally. When it comes to my son, I just can't wait to see his response to stuff. I don't expect him to want to make movies. I don't, he gets to do whatever he wants to do. If he decides that, if he says, Dad, I want to make movies, I'm like, no, you're not making movies. Figure something else out because it's not, it's a crazy.
Not easy.
No
Not
way.
life anyone wants.
No way.
I'm making my kids be actors. They have no choice.
That's what he wants. He wants to have a part, in all the movies. And I love that. I love the enthusiasm. No, I just know how much excitement certain movies brought me.
Sure.
So I just want to see if they will land anywhere near with the same level of excitement that they will with him. Certain things. So, and that's fun. That's the thing that you get to, when you're a parent and you start to, foist your passions on your kids and see what sticks. You see what sticks, and then whatever doesn't, you go from there. But
do you think that this movie is still something that is it a movie you would recommend today? Obviously for your own children, but is it something you think? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish every kid would see a movie like Baby these days. They don't get, like I said, you don't get a chance to see it. My son's watched it twice, I think.
They're too safe now. Movies are too safe.
Yeah, they're way too safe. Everything's way too sanitized. They don't make PG rated kids in peril movies. They don't make
like Never Ending Story is terrifying.
Yeah, the Never Ending Story, classic example. Right. Give us a Never Ending Story. You'd never get that movie made now.
Never.
I understand lots of different things about why this gets made and why this doesn't get made, and I get it. But at the same time, the society is not as culturally rich in my mind when you don't see
movies that represent
like when what were they called? Kids on bikes, kids on bike movies,
like E.T.
Oh yeah,
Stand By Me.
They're not even allowed to ride bikes by themselves anymore, are they?
Yeah, like kids on bikes.
Like kids today watch movies and be like, "What do you mean they're riding their bikes all over?"
They're doing video game bikes.
Yep. So and again, that's why I like to show those films, and also they're damn good. Like that's the other thing too, is that like the writing in a lot of these movies that we're discussing is actually very good. It's subversive. There's humor. What did we just watch last week? Oh God, one of the Mac Daddies of them all, Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh
that's like a perfect movie. I mean, like in retrospect, like you watch it now and you're like, oh my God,
I don't know if I ever saw the whole movie. Bill would kill me.
Oh Lord, you got to watch that movie.
I know.
Track down the one that's not on. It's streaming on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And there's one whole subplot that you can't take out of that movie, otherwise there is no movie, which is the Playboy thing, right? So that's still in there.
Okay.
But there are multiple F-bombs and off-color, culturally insensitive jokes that have been scrubbed from the Disney Plus streaming version, where if you have it on Blu-ray or you see it elsewhere, you'll see the full.
Well, you want to see it the way it was made.
Yeah, but it's different. There's different things.
Sure.
Don't fool with the babysitter is different than don't fuck with the babysitter. So, but it's still a great movie, regardless of how they try to change things. And
right.
But yeah, no, I just think that there's something lost for kids. It's like, these days it's Sonic the Hedgehog and Minecraft and Mario Bros.
Yeah.
And, those are cool. They're fun.
Sure.
They have their place. I've seen them all. They're cute, but they're not. Like,
no, they're sanitized.
They're not going to hit you right here.
No.
So when you, how old was your boy the first time he saw Baby with you?
It was during COVID. He was 5.
5, right?
5 and a half.
Well, it's the same age as you were when you saw it.
He thought it was all funny.
Did you prepare him?
Oh, really?
Anything that was going to happen?
Didn't tell him what was going to happen, but it didn't
so he went in blind. Were you watching him to like see how he was processing, and was that like, because the thing I love about talking about movies that changed us is that it provokes questions and conversations, teachable moments, you know, like all these opportunities for us to share on a very intimate human level. Like when you love a movie and I love a movie, I automatically understand something about you.
Absolutely.
Because, like, it's like things that are on the soundtrack of my life. Like these movies are on, you know, whatever and
if you like a movie I hate, I think you're a freak.
Yes.
Bill,
anyways, when you were watching it with your boy, talk to me about that experience, because now you're looking at it as a dad and something that you want to show your son, not necessarily so he wants to love movies like you do, but to maybe take away some of the other lessons that you know are in there. Like the fact that it's still in your lexicon as you're a parent and you're like, I'm going to use this as like a moment to bond with my son. Like, that's pretty great. Like the fact that it's not only lasted so long in you, it's that you're now passing it on. So what was it like watching it with him?
It was me watching his response. To my son's credit, and also seeing it on the big screen. Seeing movies on the big screen is not the same as seeing them at home. So when you're at home and you're 5 years old, there's a lot of you know, it's like, you know, it's, you know, like sitting there, you know, when we're in the theater, we're glued to there's nothing else in front of you. You are trapped. You are there. As long as you're not playing with your phone, you're watching, right?
Drives me crazy.
So there is a big difference between seeing stuff in the theater and seeing stuff at home. Like, for instance, we saw E.T. at home, and then we went and saw it in IMAX. And I guarantee that my son's experience watching that movie, it was probably like that first viewing at home that we watched during COVID, probably like it didn't even happen.
Guns or Walkies?
Yeah.
Was it the Guns or Walkies version? Walkie-talkies?
I'm pretty sure the one we saw went back to the Guns. Didn't it?
All right. Was the original the re-release?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when they showed it in the version we saw a few years ago, it was back to the Guns.
Okay.
But yeah, no. So I think seeing anything on the big screen, especially when you're little, because you're so small, right? Like my dad took me to see. I could have also said, because this was big. My dad took me to see Tim Burton's Batman when I was a month away from turning 9.
Wow.
So that was a huge,
pretty dark movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was at a radio in Hartford, Connecticut at 96.5 radio station. It was a big radio station premiere. It was like a week early. I couldn't believe that we were seeing Batman, let alone a week early at a special thing. I can still remember the signs up, right? And they had somebody on a microphone, and I was like, oh my God. Like I was like, you know, that was a big deal screening. My dad took me to see T2 when I was 10.
Oh, wow. That must have hit.
That utterly blew my mind, seeing nuclear war like that. Like I had questions for like
that's terrifying. Yeah.
I was terrified by nuclear war. I had questions for a month about it.
Same here.
But yeah, that was a big one. That was July 4th when 90. I was just about to turn 11, so I was like 10 and 11 months. So that was a big deal. But honestly, though, I come back to Baby because I really do feel like I probably would have gotten into movies regardless of what my first movie was. But that movie got its hooks in me. It was not a passive experience. It was an experience that brought out everything, in me. So,
and also at that age, you don't know when you go into a cinema, you don't know that that's just a movie and these different people put their jobs together. They made, with sound and everything. For you, it's real.
Yeah.
But then going into that lobby with your parents, you're like, okay, I'm in a safe place.
Yeah.
That's just a chair in there. I'm going to go sit back in it. But I understand that reaction. That's why these movies stick with us and they're seared into our memories.
Totally. Yeah. And that's, and again, and this is when you're little. And these days, I think about it now, like my son's 9. he's seen so much behind the scenes and making of stuff already, right? To like, you know, like we're so inundated with everything in all forms that even most kids have like a fleeting idea, I think, of like camera stuff and like this is what this might look like, or this is right, you know, this is all fake, right? You know, back, you know, that was not the way it was. Like, you know, for all intents purposes, what you were watching up there was a snuff film, and those were real dinosaurs.
Yes,
got murdered. So
totally. So even though the you know, obviously kids today are so overstimulated, whatever movies are doing, but what is it that you were really hoping your kid would take away? Or if you were to watch it with them again now, you know, as a 9-year-old, I know he's seen a lot, but what would you hope any kid would take away from this?
From watching,
you know, because there's a lot of other great lessons in there. There's a lot of great things about morality, family,
totally,
honor, right?
I think that the message that you would take from Baby is that family is important, and to stand and certainly to stand up for your family, even if you fall. But I think that, you know, ultimately, what's the movie about? It's about hope. It's about the hope of reuniting for the mother and the baby, and the hope for, you know, them to get through the jungle and, you know, survive. And I think that's as universal as it gets. So I think that any kid that, you know, would see it now, outside of just possibly just being straight up entertained, you know, just from the hijinks with the dinosaurs and, you know, all of the potentially offensive stuff, which kids, of course, still will love. Because that doesn't go out of style. Doesn't matter, you know. There's always going to be immature 7 and 8 and 9-year-olds. So,
it also shows that arrows and blow darts are just as effective as guns and grenades.
It does. That movie, people get fucked up in that movie. They get shot, stabbed. There's everything going on in that film.
Yeah.
Can I show one more clip of it?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
There we go.
I was under the impression you were a scientist. What? You can have it stuffed right here on the spot?
Mr. Loomis, you will kindly keep your mouth shut. Secure the creature, would you?
Yes, don't do it, Nigel. Well,
Oh my God.
Is he a prisoner?
We do not take prisoners.
Valérie, comment? Christian, quoi? Move! Run, Susan!
That's some pretty crazy violence. Like for me, he was
violence.
Remember, the father got mutilated, and then after the baby runs up to her dead dad, and mom tranked, and
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. And they don't let up. Like that just happened. I was so concerned for that darn puppet in that scene.
But for me, he was the greatest American hero. And I'm like, why doesn't he put on his cape and save these people?
Oh my God, is that who that is?
That's who that is. You were probably too young for that, Nick, to even know who he was at the time.
William Cat.
I was trying I was like, he's Williams with C. Thomas Howell, kind of.
He was the greatest American hero. Did you ever see that show, Nick?
Yeah, I used to love that.
I was too young.
You're too young. Oh, he was great. I love that show. So I was like, why isn't he saving everybody? I mean, he's trying, but he could fly.
No,
it's just like you watch that stuff now, and it's just like truly. I see the movie as honestly as a studio trying to figure out like where it was going to plant its flag in the sand.
Who was our audience? Yeah.
What's going on here? We got half a kid movie, half an adult movie. We're just jamming them together. We're trying to figure this out. But again, that's a different podcast. Maybe we'll get Clifford on one day.
Yeah, it's very true to life.
We'll talk about
it's kind of how
true.
life is, unfortunately.
Who's the audience for this life? Yeah. Well, we don't want to keep you forever, Nick. Is there anything else that you want to share, or Mickey, any questions that you have for him?
Yeah, well, Nick, I mean, is there a part of the movie that we didn't get to discuss that is really important to you, or that you think viewers need to hear to understand it properly?
No,
I just want to make sure you got to say everything that you
I covered it. You know, again, movies have been in my life forever. A love for them was instilled by my family. You know, this movie ultimately is about family. And, you know, I'll always have fond memories of this movie because of the relationship that I had with with my dad, and with my mother has just passed away recently. But
oh, I'm sorry.
It's a movie that will always be special to me. And, you know, for that, you know, you can't discount, you know, how a movie makes you feel. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah. You know, and one of the things that I love that's a side product of all this is that getting to hear about Baby, why it's important to you, and the things that really landed with you, it really informs Ian and I of who you are and the type of person you are, and where
you sound like the best dad in the world.
I can tell you care very deeply about family. You're passionate about bringing together and sharing and communicating and having those bonding moments, and being invested in that. And those are all qualities of like a great person.
So, Mickey, did you notice he didn't mention the cat once?
What?
He didn't mention the cat once.
He mentioned the cat. Yeah, no, he hasn't even come up here to bother me. I don't even know where he is. So I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, he exists. We believe it.
But yeah, man. So it's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your stuff with Baby, and so much about yourself that was revealed through everything that you shared was important, and for being our first guest, which is amazing. I love that it was Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend, because I really feel like this is such a great conversation for a first podcast on the movie that changed your life. Is that when it's something like this out of left field that is not known by everyone in the world, but
it's
still
not The Godfather Part 2.
Such a deep impact on someone's life, still to this day, your kid's life, and like that is the magic of movies. Is that it can be the right line, the right scene at the right time can really change a life. And thank you for sharing everything about yourself in the movie that really showed that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, continue poisoning your kid's brain with great movies and your wife.
I plan on it.
Thank you for your time, Nick. Please stick around for a minute, and
definitely.
Hopefully you'll come back with your second favorite movie that changed your life.
We can do that.
Okay, stand by for 1 sec. Everyone, like, share, comment, tell your friends. And Mickey, anything from you else?
We're good.
We love you, everybody.